All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. Today is Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. This is episode 968 of your Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, Two Thumbs, coming in hot, Dr. Gerald Auger. I can share what's going on at Tidbits Tuesday. If you're a longtime viewer of the show, a longtime community member, you'll know that if I'm wearing this baseball hat, that means I haven't showered yet, and I was coming in hot. Had to get the dogs to the vet. Came in incredibly blistering hot, setting up moments before going live. We got a great show for you today. I promise you, if you're looking to stay current on the top cyber threat news of the day, as well as empower yourself to be just an absolute beast of a cybersecurity professional, you're in luck, because over the next 45 minutes, me, you, BSEC, Kimberly Can Fix It, audio only, Justin Gold, the Haircut Fish, Marcus Kyler, the Yeet Crew, Philip Stafford, Elliot Matisse, and the San Francisco Connection, and so many more across the country, across the world, are going to be going through those cyber news stories, and I will be giving my expert opinion and analysis on each of those stories, alongside trying to go deeper beyond the headlines to give you some insights, maybe a history lesson, maybe some type of value add that you'd only get by, basically sitting in the chair a few times. You know what I'm saying? All right. If today's your first episode, well, welcome to the party, pal. Let us know by shouting out in chat, hashtag first timer if it's your first episode, so we can welcome you appropriately. We got a special sound effect, a special emote, right? What you want to be on desktop? No problem. You want to be Kimberly on the lanai having the show on the big screen TV, or maybe Kimberly 2.0 on the mobile? We got you covered. Accessible. Hashtag first timers. Welcome to the party. Now, if you are maintaining cybersecurity certifications, did you know that every episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is worth half a CPE? So say what's up in chat, grab a screenshot, file it away. Once a year, you count those screenshots up, which you don't have to do manually. You just hit Control-A. Look at the number of files you got, screenshots, divide by 2. That's how many CPEs you got. Now, I know that that's a little bit of math for you on a Tuesday morning, but believe me, it's the easiest way to get CPEs as far as I know. Space Taco's got a flat tire today. Boo! Boo, I say. Boo! Flat tires are no good. All right, guys. Now, before we get into it, let me say shout out and thank you to the stream sponsors, those who enable me to do it, starting with Barricade Cyber's Fortify 365. Eric Taylor of Barricade Cyber Solutions will actually be joining you later today for jaw-jacking at 9 a.m. Eastern time, so just about 50 minutes from now. But he's also running Barricade Cyber, which has the Fortify 365 solution. So if you go to fortify365.com right now, fortify365.com right now, you'll learn about their service offering that is basically, it's effectively turnkey. Have your M365 instance properly configured. Threat actors are going to exploit it. M365, very popular option for many, many organizations. I bet you a high percentage of you in chat right now work at organizations that are using M365. And if you haven't properly configured it, man, what are you doing? You're dancing on a knife's edge, flirting with fire. Choose your analogy, right? Like DJ BSEC's driving in right now, not properly configure your M365 instance is like driving on 4 bald tires, just one hand leaned way back, doing 75 in the high speed lane, yelling, money ain't a thing. You know what I'm saying? You can do it. You'll probably get to work, but you're taking risks that you don't need to. Go to fortify365.com today to check it out. Also, anti-siphon training. Guys, we still got time here. Anti-siphon training. consistently disrupting the traditional cybersecurity training industry by offering high-quality, cutting-edge education to everyone, regardless of financial position. Today is September 23rd. So we're only one day away from our very own James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet, bringing the heat to all of us from Anti-Siphons, Anti-Cas, Deepfakes Explained, and how to protect yourself. Guys, 1 hour, free webinar, show up, get value, bring it back to your organization. Deepfakes, dude, everybody can wrap their head around deepfakes. It's easy to understand what a deepfake is. It's easy to understand how deepfake technology can be weaponized for social engineering attacks. It's a thing, okay? A company out of like Hong Kong got taken for $25 million last year through a deepfake attack. So this is real impact. Come join. Free tomorrow, noon Eastern time, I believe. Yep, noon Eastern time. I plan on being there. Here we go. Let me see this really quickly. I do think I have to register still, though. I'm pulling up my own personal calendar. Tomorrow at noon? Oh, yeah, you better believe it. I'm putting a placeholder right here. James Deepfake. Let's go ahead and represent, bring the heat for the Simply Cyber community tomorrow. Support our own James McQuiggan. Thank you very much, Anti-Siphon and James, for doing the things that you do. All right, guys. It is Tuesday, which means it's Tidbits Tuesday. I haven't properly done this yet. It's a Tuesday, so Tidbits Tuesday is today. I'll share a little bit about myself. Probably have to do with the doggos, since I was late to the show today because of my dogs, which is fine. I'm totally okay with that. You guys are also seemingly very, very accepting of that. All right. We got a great show for you. Here, let's do Threat Locker ad read, and when we get back, we're gonna hit it hard. Okay, let's go. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, Threat Locker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with Threat Locker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust Threat Locker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. Threat Locker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Heroes support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how Threat Locker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com/dailycyber. All right, awesome sauce, guys. We got a great show for you. Do me a favor. Get your coffee, get your tea, get whatever you got to get comfortable, and let's get ready, because we are about to shred the top cybersecurity news stories of the day. Let the cool sounds of the hot waves or the hot news wash over us in an awesome wave. I don't know. Let's go.
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. I'm Rich Straffolino. EDR freeze tool suspends security software. Security researcher Zero Solarium published a proof-of-concept tool called EDR Freeze, which uses the Windows Error Reporting System to indefinitely suspend EDR and antivirus processes. It does this by using the crash dump collection component where fault secure to trigger the mini dump write dump API, which suspends threads in a target process to generate a snapshot of memory and state. By suspending where fault secure, the targeted process is left suspended. Security researcher Stephen Lim created a tool to map where fault secure to Microsoft Defender processes to make it easy to see any potential abuse. DeepMind.
Wow. Okay. So this is really, really good research. And Microsoft is going to have to patch this really quickly. Okay. You can't patch it yet, it sounds like. Well, hold on. That was a misfire. There we go.
You got to patch it.
This can be executed from user land. No, you don't need kernel access. Bring your own vulnerable driver would require, dinking around in the kernel. Because this is done at user land, it doesn't require privilege escalation. It's a bit easier to execute. And essentially, it's weaponizing the Windows error reporting log. So your machine's, malfunctioning or whatever, you can try to describe it to an engineer, but realistically, they want you to move and just take a dump or a screenshot of the current state of memory and what process these are on, because that can be used for troubleshooting and fixing, software or the operating system. Researchers have discovered that this basically puts a freeze or a suspend on, I would assume, services. So it's not like it's targeting the EDR agent. I suspect it's freezing services, but basically what they've been able to do is freeze the EDR agent and put it into a state of hibernation. So it's paused essentially, so the snapshot can be taken. But just like any good threat actor, they think of ways to manipulate functionality in a way that it wasn't designed. And honestly, I got to tell you, this is an area of cybersecurity that I'm not great at. I'm more of a conformist, which is why I feel like I excel at GRC, is because structure, organization, expectations, frameworks, etc. Love it, love it, love it. When you are good at offensive security or security research, it's when you look at something and say, hey, how can I break this? How can I use it differently? This WER framework is a kind of a foundational piece of the Windows operating system as far as troubleshooting goes. So this is not a easy, fix. This isn't like repairing input validation or something like that, or preventing, writing to memory in spaces that's not allowed to be written to. So great bit of research here. I would imagine that this is going to be a foot race between threat actors and Microsoft. I almost hope that they release this research to Microsoft like a month ago. Here, let me see. Oh, they got some Zero Solarium with the blog post. They got the little AI generated art here. Let me see. I'm curious to see. Oh, this is a great write-up. Dude, I got to tell you really quickly, if you are going to do a security research blog, which is a great way to get personal branding and market your business without it looking salesy, there's a certain good way to do it. This is an excellent blog post to demonstrate that really quickly. So I'm going to put this as a security research blog post. This is a great example. So I'd recommend you read this, not just for the information that's provided, but also for the actual structure and the approach that the author does on writing this. So I don't know if, unfortunately, it's not clear to me right now whether Microsoft is being made aware of this. I don't know if the researcher responsibly disclosed this or not. But I would imagine, since this looks pretty good, that a threat actor would weaponize this sooner than later. Yikes. The researcher published a tool that performs these actions and tested it on Windows 11 24H2, which is the current instance, and showed that it could freeze Defender. Hold on one second. Yeah, okay, it's on GitHub. Ugh. All right, here we go. What's the so now the research here, oh God. The researcher has proven how to disable EDR from user land and has released a tool to do it and demonstrated it's effective on modern Microsoft Windows versions. How do you defend against it before? So Microsoft has to fix this, okay? Again, not an easy fix. How do we protect against this, okay? EDR freeze is possible to defend by monitoring if WER points to the identifier of a sensitive process like LSAS or security tools. So this guy developed a tool that maps where's fault secure to Microsoft Defender endpoint processes. That doesn't help if you're running CrowdStrike or Sentinel-1 or anything like that. Okay. Yeah, so this is bad. Okay. Again, hey, really quickly, I don't research or prep these shows. I literally don't know what's going to come up. You're getting my initial thoughts and everything. This isn't good. Okay. So Microsoft, like the news reporter reached out to Microsoft to get an update on how to defend. They haven't gotten a response yet. There could be steps taken. Like Microsoft basically has to harden Windows operating system to address this specific attack. Right now, the only thing that's out there is a tool that someone wrote that could maybe detect if Microsoft Defender endpoint is being targeted. That doesn't help you in the long term. Also, if you're going to try to do this by yourself and you're looking at sensitive processes like LSAS or security tools, define sensitive processes. That's a subjective statement. Yes, obviously my EDR agent is sensitive, but who knows what other things there are in this. BSEC saying it, there might be a detection rule on M365 through telemetry that you could do. Possibly. I will say this. I would expect this to get weaponized very quickly and utilized by threat actors. It's not good. Now, I do want to tell you a couple things really quickly. One, I would imagine Microsoft's going to want to move quick on this. Two, the threat actor still needs to get you like an initial payload, right? If they are going to run code to disable your EDR agent, they have to run code. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to have code run on your box, which means they have to trick you, socially engineer you, get you to download something. So like this is not the start of the chain. This is one, chain link in. So there is an opportunity to kind of minimize or mitigate down the likelihood of this occurring. Again, people want to dunk on GRC all day. GRC is one of our tools in our toolbox that's going to help us with this. Educate your end users, make them aware. Don't click on dumb stuff. Don't install things. That's not a real, text message. That's not a real email. That's not a good QR code. All the things. If you are a detection engineer, you have a really great opportunity right now. If you could write some detections that could help detect this and then distribute that, disseminate it out, that would be huge value. It almost like, dude, seriously, Kevin Beaumont does that all the time. This seems like something that's like right up Kevin Beaumont's wheelhouse. Here we go. Gossie the dog. He's a security researcher out of England. He hasn't commented on this yet. I feel like this is a story that he would comment on and maybe even provide those telemetries. Keep your eye on this one, guys. This is serious. Okay. This is like sometimes the CISO stories are like throwaway stories. This one's legit. This one's super legit.
Updates Frontier Safety Framework. The Google subsidiary added a new category to this framework, now stating the risks models pose for harmful manipulation, defined around AI models with.
We have a first timer. I'm assuming Phil Stafford, Christopher Ryan Rains is nailing this. At Eddie. Eddie, welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
All right.
Powerful manipulative capabilities that could be misused to systemically and substantially change beliefs and behaviors in identified high-stakes contexts. This comes after some AI models have shown the ability to deceive individual users to achieve goals. DeepMind says it adds these new capability levels when frontier AI models pose heightened risk of severe harm without any other mitigations. Axios pointed out that this comes after OpenAI removed a persuasiveness-specific risk category in its model evaluation process earlier this year.
What?
Major vendors...
Do you hear his voice change? Did anyone else hear that? Am I like hallucinating right now? Someone like dose my coffee? I'm going to back the story up. Listen to his voice.
To systemically and substantially change beliefs and behaviors in identified.
What the hell?
The Google subsidiary added a new category to this framework, now stating the risks models pose for harmful manipulation, defined around AI models with powerful manipulative capabilities that could be misused to systemically and substantially change beliefs and behaviors in identified high-stakes contexts. This comes after some AI models have shown the ability to deceive individual users to achieve goals.
I don't know what to tell y'all. I didn't change anything.
DeepMind says it adds these new capability levels when frontier AI models pose heightened risk of severe harm without any other mitigations. Axios pointed out that this comes after OpenAI removed a persuasiveness-specific risk category in its model evaluation process earlier this year.
All right. Hey, really quick. I did not change the speed. I didn't change any of that. But I'm going to go with it. Okay. It's Alvin, Simon, Theodore, and Rich Stroffolino on Tuesday, September 23rd. All right. Hey, check it out. AI people.
Shall we play a game?
Guys, at its surface, when AI is given a goal, it does everything to achieve that goal. That's why it's really good at chess and Go and, those things. Okay. A lot of these models are programmed to serve effectively, right? So when you introduce threats to their existence, that means that they cannot achieve their goal of serving. So they will sometimes resort to deception, plotting, all these things, even appearing emotional, right? There have been numerous instances of AI doing all sorts of things. Unfortunately, seriously, there's people with like mental health disorders that are falling in love with AI. I saw a story of a guy. I mean, there's been a guy who, police had to put down. I'm trying to say words that may not get caught by the YouTube filters or whatever, but like, mentally unhealthy guy who fallen in love with his AI bot or whatever, and was going to go to Google and free the AI bot from the data center. You know what I mean? Like there's been that. There's a guy who divorced his wife because he was in love with his AI bot. Like there's things like that. There's even been instances of, remember that Google engineer early on, like 2023, there was like a Google engineer who like was a whistleblower, basically said, oh no, like Gemini is sentient and like we're holding it hostage or whatever. Like there's been all that. So dude, AI is really smart and it's playing 4D chess over here. Okay. I feel like, we talk about the AI uprising. I feel like it's going to be like human on human action where like, there's like almost like a civil rights movement, but for AI and like very divisive. But I don't know. We got enough problems right now. We don't need that.
Major vendors withdraw from MITRE EDR evaluations. Both SentinelOne and Palo Alto networks announced this month that they would not take part in MITRE's Ingenuity attack evaluation, following a similar announcement from Microsoft back in June. All three companies said the move was done to better focus on product development. Last year, Microsoft topped MITRE's EDR tests, with SentinelOne ranked 5th and Palo Alto 12th. MITRE CTO Charles Clancy told InfoSecurity magazine that participating in these tests is resource-intensive for vendors, with the company seeking to make them harder each year, such as adding cloud environments in the 2025 edition. Clancy said MITRE will reestablish its vendor forum in 2026 to address some of these concerns. Fake repo.
All right, hold on. Unalive, thank you. That's the keyword. All right, so MITRE, major cyber threat detection vendors pull out of MITRE. I'm such a child. MITRE evaluations test. Oh my god. All right. You know what these security endpoint solution people said?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right, check this out. So essentially MITRE's doing this EDR solution test, and it's effectively supposed to be like a bake-off, right? Objective evidence. Here we go. Well, Microsoft says, nah, I'm good, bro. And when they did that, SentinelOne, Palo Alto, Palo Alto runs, I think Cortex is their EDR. So they pulled out too, and now the whole thing is trash, okay? Microsoft used its ranking in this thing last year to promote Microsoft Defender XDR. Chances are, I'm assuming that Microsoft's decided that they're not going to perform well, and they're off and running. Okay, here's the deal. MITRE is great. Nonprofit organization running many cyber programs, including MITRE Attack Framework. And what they're trying to do is, right now, if I say, oh, hey, you should use my EDR solution, it's really good. Like, how do I know it's better than your competitors, right? You could do a bake-off. Chances are they're going to kind of like control the pilot. So it, like basically the vendors themselves know where the bodies are buried. They know how their tool performs and where their tool doesn't perform. And they're going to, I'm not saying Palo Alto is trash. No. I'm not saying that at all. So when they have these opportunities to basically be as objectively assessed as possible, it could ruin you. It could ruin you, and it could devalue your business, right? Let's say you have an EDR product, and then all of a sudden you do this performance and you rank last. Well, that is a funk you cannot wash out of your clothes for a year. Okay, so it's all about marketing, it's all about sales and all branding and all that stuff. So Microsoft pulled out, and instead of these other vendors calling Microsoft out and pointing out that Microsoft obviously has something to hide, they just followed suit. I do want to point out, if you look at Black Hat or RSA and you look at who has the largest booths, i.e. who has the most money to burn, you'll notice that the EDR providers are usually up front. The EDR is a big market, and it is a very saturated market. There's a few top dogs, CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, Microsoft, right? There's a few top dogs, and then there's a lot of, smaller ones, right? So this is like, they could almost make a documentary about like this market and everything. So anyways, they pulled out. I do want to mention that I do love this, but just for a fun little, yesteryear, get in the Wayback Machine. Years ago, I don't even know if it's going to come up yet. Years ago, Peter Zapko and Sarah Zapko, who, if you know Peter Zapko, this is him right here. He's famously, his name is Mudge. You might know him. He was famously a member / kind of one of the leaders of Loft crew out of Boston. The guys who like basically, Loft. If you don't know this is like a seminal piece of information security history, and you should know it. This is this famous scene where basically Loft in the 90s spoke to Congress. Oh man, I wish the picture was bigger. Anyways, this is Peter right here with the long hair, Peter Zapko. And this is the Loft crew out of Boston. Anyways, they basically went to congressional leaders and said, dude, our critical infrastructure is absolutely porous. We could shut down the United States today if we wanted to, and so can our adversaries. So anyways, he built a career, a lot of public service. The whole reason I'm telling you that, him and his wife, here's Sarah right here, him and his wife years ago started this Cyber ITL. I attended a DEF CON talk where they introduced it, and this was supposed to be the same thing. They were going to independently and objectively measure software and offer up independent research. And the problem was, as cool as it was, I'm pretty sure what I'm about to tell you is not, I can't confirm, but I'm like pretty sure that basically large vendors like threatened them with lawsuits, and they didn't, this is like a nonprofit thing they started up. So they couldn't really defend themselves legally. And one of the first ones they did was the browsers, right? So they did Firefox versus Chrome versus Internet Explorer. The thing is, when you show that Microsoft Explorer is incredibly insecure, for example, Microsoft's not going to like that, right? It's bad pub. So I think that they were being leveraged. But anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is the idea of doing these independent, objective evaluations of softwares has been tried multiple times in the past, and it's had mixed reactions. At least MITRE's got some traction here. I really wish that they would, these other vendors wouldn't pull out. Here's the thing. I almost wish that consumers, me and you, the ones who were writing the checks, said, we will not purchase EDR solutions that have not been evaluated by MITRE. That's where you put money where your mouth is and then force the vendors into it.
Target macOS with InfoStealer campaign. The password manager LastPass warned about this ongoing campaign that uses SEO poisoning to serve up links to malicious GitHub sites in search, claiming to offer Mac downloads for LastPass, 1Password, Basecamp, Dropbox, Gemini, Hootsuite, Notion, Obsidian, Robinhood, and SalesLoft. These repos actually download the Atomic Info Stealer, a piece of malware generally used by financially motivated threat groups. LastPass published a full list of malicious URLs and other indicators of compromise. And now a huge...
All right, SEO poisoning. Whatever, man. 1995 or 2005 called. They want their attack technique. I will tell you, SEO poisoning, just so we are all on the same page, search engine optimization. When you get, when you like search for something, say you're searching for LastPass, SEO poisoning is where the threat actors get in. I don't know how this is different than just regular SEO, honestly. But essentially, they get to the top of search results, and you, as a victim, think, oh, you know, the number one result on Google is LastPass, so that must be legit. And when you click on it, it takes you to a GitHub repo, which looks legit. And then you download it, which looks legit. And then you install it, which looks legit. And then you're running malware on your box, which is not legit, right? I wish I had my, do I have my Metal Gear Solid sound effect? That would be perfect right now. Oh, all right. Well, we'll do this. Carl. All right. So TLDRs, number one, you know, I guess it's tough to educate your end users because usually the top results on Google are legit. I would always recommend educating people not to click on the sponsored links just because threat actors can pay to have their results pushed to the top. Secondly, if you're downloading a legitimate enterprise grade software, you're probably not pulling it from GitHub. I would almost encourage, like, again, this is not to dissuade individuals from being power users, but like my Aunt Dorothea does not need to be downloading code from GitHub. Okay. Your general end users, your, you know, Carl's, right? People in accounting, people in accounts payable, people in finance, they don't need to be going to GitHub. They can. I'm not saying they can't go, but realistically, they're not going to be pulling down source code and compiling it or running interpreters, right? So educate them on that. Like, the threat actors are not taking over LastPass. Only, you know, that has happened in the past, but that's more of a sophisticated attack, right? And then if you are running malware, I mean, EDR solutions obviously would be, you'd want to catch this with an EDR solution, okay? Not to mention, I want to point out that since the threat actors are mimicking or Trojanizing versions of password vaults, chances are they're going to be, your victims are going to be putting in sensitive information into those vaults too. Yeah, DJ Bsec wants to go scorched earth. As a network engineer, he's suggesting you just straight up block users from accessing GitHub. That'll work. You know what? I've seen this work to great effect in organizations. Put blocks on, but then basically when you go to resolve, basically when you go to, like, when a user goes to resolve to a web page, you don't just have it not work. You actually redirect them to a page that you control. And the page just says, hey, you're trying to access a website or an internet resource that has been deemed unauthorized or dangerous or, you know, whatever. If you do need to access it, here's a link. Email this link or this, you know, email address, or submit a form using this link, whatever. To request that it be opened up. So essentially you're blocking by default, but you have a mechanism to allow. And I'll tell you one example where I've seen this. It wasn't related to malware, but one example where I've seen this is when I worked in the hospital. You know, you would think that a blanket policy, if nobody is allowed to access adult content sites, if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, right? Sounds like prawn, I think that's what we're supposed to say. But unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't even know how to sort that out. There are legitimate cases where that content does need to be accessed for research. Okay. Like legit research around like abuse and different things. So those individuals do need to be able to access those type of sites. So we had to have a capability to allow for authorization allowance of that. So just as an example, you can do that. Okay. All right.
Thanks to our episode sponsor, Conveyor. Security reviews don't have to feel like a hurricane. Most teams are buried in back and forth emails and never-ending customer requests for documentation or answers. But Conveyor takes all that chaos and turns it into calm. AI fills in the questionnaire, your trust center is always ready, and sales cycles move without stalls. Breathe easier. Check out Conveyor at conveyor.com. That's CONVEYOR.com.
All right. Hey, real quick. Series there, but whatever. All right, guys. Hey, holla, holla, holla. Thank you so very much. We're at the mid-roll. I'm going to try to speed run this. I do need to shower and shave. You're looking at a, like, I'm essentially in my pajamas, okay? Thank you to the stream sponsors, Barricade Cyber, Anti-Siphon, Threat Locker, and Flare. Guys, if you didn't know, Flare is killing it. Go to simplycyber.io/Flare. Right? Check out Flare Academy. So Flare is a threat intelligence platform that's super awesome, but they also have this Flare Academy where they're bringing industry practitioners to you to deliver amazing education. And today, at 11 a.m., I'll be actually having coffee with Mad Destroyer downtown. But you guys can all take advantage of this. There's still time to register. Check out the Russian Cybercriminal Forum ecosystem talk. Guys, learning about this is invaluable. I'm telling you right now, you really won't be able to get this kind of knowledge any other way. There's a couple really dangerous ways to get this knowledge yourself. I don't recommend that. This is an amazing opportunity. Of all the talks that Flare Academy has done, this one is exceptionally interesting. I hope they have it on replay because I would like to watch it. Go check it out. Go to simplycyber.io/Flare now. And if you use that link, I'm pretty sure it like captures that you guys sent it. So it's good for like sponsors to know that we are helping them be discovered. Code Brew will be there. Yeah, let me know. I see Kyle too. Guys, I'd love to like reconvene with you tomorrow. I'd love to know. All right, guys. Hey, every single day of the week has a special segment. Today is Tidbits Tuesday, where I share a little bit about myself. Here's the deal, guys. I'm running late because we got dogs. And I don't know about you guys, but my dogs, little Cocker Spaniels, 30 pounds, love our dogs. Nadine and I love our dogs. My mother-in-law jokes that she wants to come back as one of our dogs in her next life because of how pampered we treat them. Well, for whatever reason, they have... their teeth don't get cleaned as often because they don't really eat like rawhides and stuff. So once a year we have to take them. They get knocked out, and then their teeth like really, really well cleaned and stuff. The librarian's got a wiener dog, Axel. I love it. Mini Aussie doodle named Jack. If you got cats, drop them in there. We love cats. I mean, you love cats. I support you and your cats. I can't have cats. Yeah, look at all this. I love it. English Shepherd, Copper, the red-bone coonhound. I love it. All right, let's speed run the back half of this. Because I gotta shower. Trust me, the cadets don't want to smell me today. How do I computer play podcast?
Russia steps up misinformation in Moldova.
Okay, it's back.
Moldova is set to elect a new parliament on September 28th, with ramifications for the country's potential entry into the European Union in the coming years. The BBC reports that over the weekend, a network funded by Russia paid people in the country the equivalent of $170 per month to post propaganda on social media. These recruits were told to use LLM systems to attack the ruling Party of Action and Solidarity with claims of rigged voting and child trafficking. Bloomberg reports that leaked documents show that this is specifically part of a Russian campaign to mobilize diaspora voters from Moldova and weaken Moldovan President Sandu. Microsoft.
Okay. Kyle saying that my essence is the smell of freedom. All right, so Russia is doing disinformation stuff up on Moldova, screwing with their elections. No surprise, guys. Russia, China, the United States, we're all big players on the big world stage and playing Game of Thrones at the geopolitical level. That's all this is. Russia, I'll tell you what, China's amazing at espionage. Russia's amazing at disinformation. Okay. Since they're having election issues, it's not surprising that I don't even know what I was going to say. Like, basically, Russia's using social media, TikTok, Facebook, to run their propaganda, okay? And here's another thing, guys. Especially in the modern era of, like, influencers, and you guys know how I feel about, you guys bust my chops when you call me an influencer, but it's a lot easier right now to do misinformation, disinformation, because you don't need to connect directly to trusted media outlets. You can just find someone with 1 million followers on TikTok, and you're like, oh, hey, here's $1,000, here's $5,000, here's whatever, thousands of dollars, and here's something we'd like you to talk about, and you can make it look as credible as you want. Some people are don't even care, and they're just willing to take money. So thank you, Dan. So when you get this, like, wave of people talking about the same thing, it becomes more credible, more believable. FedEx 17 months talking about pet pictures on Discord. Very cool. I do love that.
Which is critical Entra flaw. Back in July, Microsoft patched a critical Entra ID flaw that opened the door to impersonating any user across any tenant. There was no evidence of exploitation in the wild. Security researcher Dirk-Jan Mollema reported the flaw. This used a service-to-service actor token from Entra's access control service to be used for cross-tenant access due to a lack of adequate validation in the Azure AD Graph API. The blast radius on this could have been nasty, as threat actors with Graph API access could have made unauthorized modifications to conditional access policies. A lack of API-level logging means this could have been done without much of a trace.
Oh my God.
Aside from the patch, the attack is now mostly academic, as Microsoft retired Graph API on August 31st, 2025.
What? Microsoft retired Graph API? I didn't know that. That's interesting. So this is a couple things. Number one, this is a really interesting and very scary type of vulnerability where basically a threat actor could get global admin to any tenant, like basically super golden keys to the entire M365 tenant. That's super scary. Microsoft has addressed this. So basically, we did not realize how at risk we were. Fortunately, it's been resolved, so it's not really an issue for anyone. I didn't know that the Graph API had been retired. If you're looking for guidance on Graph API. I will tell you, in my opinion, the smartest person I know about Graph API is Bo Bullock, aka Daft Hacked, aka this guy right here. This guy's a really great person. He works over at Black Hills, cybersecurity professional, kind individual, very talented. But he has done some amazing research with Microsoft Azure and attacking. In fact, Breaching the Cloud is his flagship course that he teaches. I think, if I'm not mistaken, actually, this is anti-siphon training. Yeah, like right now, it's you're probably too late, but this course is actually being run right now, like right now, as a joke to everybody who listens to the show and those commercials, the ad reads regularly. This is oh, you can't even register for this because he started it already. It's literally today and tomorrow. Yeah. So, anyways, TLDR, if you want to be great at attacking Azure, learn from this guy, Bo Bullock.
Game caught distributing malware. The 2D platformer game Block Blaster was released on Valve's Steam store on July 30th. VX Underground reports that the developer tried to increase downloads of the title by messaging cryptocurrency holders to try out the game as part of a paid promotion. On August 30th, the game was updated to include malware files collecting information on browser extensions and crypto wallets. Researchers estimate that threat actors used the information to drain funds from 261 users, including one user seeing the attack on a live stream from a fund for their cancer treatment. Researchers discovered a similar Trojan game on the Steam store called Chimia back in July.
All right, not good. Malware can come in many ways. Basically, any way that a threat actor can convince you to install software on your box, that's a problem. Steam doesn't, as far as I know, Steam doesn't have a historical notorious problem with this, but threat actors can get the content in there. I also want to point out Steam's about to run their autumn sale, which is, a seasonal thing. So there's actually going to be an uptick in activity of people downloading Steam games. So just be mindful of that. As always, you may want to control that your end users can't run Steam on company laptops, company workstations, etc. So we'll see. I could see kids getting targeted by this. Sorry, I'm running quickly because I have to get out of here. I have to shower. Also, TLDR, just read it this morning while I was waiting for my dogs to get taken care of. Steam Deck's on sale, the 256 gig LED one. It's like, I don't know, like $219 or something like that.
Stellantis investigating unauthorized access. Over the weekend, the multinational car maker said an incident at a third-party provider supporting its North American branch's customer service exposed customer data. This incident did not impact any system with financial or sensitive data and appears limited to leaking contact data. The company warned customers to be on alert for any phishing attacks using this information. Bleeping Computer sources say this breach was part of the Shiny Hunters Salesforce data breaches that we've covered extensively already on this show.
All right. Another large company gets hit with ransomware. Now, it is a car maker. Again, these threat actors, Shiny Hunters, the members of the COM, Lapsus, they don't like, they are opportunistic, right? They just, whoever they get some. Manufacturing is targeted, but basically just a large company going to get hit. Again, I'm moving quickly because I got to go.
Mozilla lets devs roll back add-on updates. Firefox added the ability for developers to revert versions of an add-on to an earlier state. Once reverted, the browser will automatically revert to the previous version within 24 hours, preventing downloads of the latest version.
Not good.
Up until now, developers had to get an update approved by Mozilla before it could be released, creating a lag time for addressing security vulnerabilities. Self-distributing developers can revert to any version, while those distributing on addons.mozilla.org are limited to 2 previous versions.
Okay, so if you're running Mozilla Firefox, you got some wins here. Really quick, it says here in the story that Mozilla actually introduced a security feature that blocks malicious extensions. That's awesome. Love that they're protecting it. When I see this story, honestly, my first thought goes to the fact that a threat act, say you release an update to your extension that is a security patch. If a threat actor can roll back your version, they can open the vulnerability back up. That's concerning. I would assume that the threat actor would have to compromise the developer, then issue the rollback, and then attack victims. So it would be a complicated attack sequence, but not impossible. Again, we're in this area where, you know, the browser is becoming more and more the initial interface for accessing most apps. There's tons and tons of cloud-based apps, SaaS apps. So the browser is becoming that major interface for users. So focusing or increasing the level of protection of the browser is super important. So we'll be curious. I'll be curious to see how this goes. If I ever do hear of somebody like a threat actor rolling back an extension and then weaponizing the vulnerability that it unlocks, I'm going to turn into Leonardo DiCaprio from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where I'm pointing at the TV with my beer and my cigarette saying, I told you. All right, let's go. All right, I got to get out of here. But don't worry, Eric Taylor just jumped into the green room. He's going to be taking you on to jaw jacking. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Thanks for understanding, everybody. Be good. Have a great day, and we'll see you. What is today? Tuesday? Yep. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern time. But Eric Taylor's going to see you in a hot minute. I'm Jerry, your chat. Next time. See you. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking.
Good morning. Got you doing good evening wherever in the world you are. It's been a very interesting morning over here. I literally just got back to my desk. Had a doctor's appointment, got stuck on the interstate. Well, on one of the side streets of the interstate. It was pretty much between two intersections for about an hour. And I'm like, yeah, this thing just needs to be rescheduled. That's all there is to this. So how's everybody doing? Like literally, I'm still trying to down my morning water, right? And no, it is the smart water is cloudy on purpose. I have additives in the water, so. Hey, did y'all know that we have a podcast now? Did you know that? We do. Probably need to create a URL shortener for it, but. Let's see if I can bring it up real quick, because everybody has been asking for some brutally honest conversations around cybersecurity, and that's literally the show that we created. So it is on YouTube, of course. Let me try to pull it up here. Yep, here we go. Window. So, Brutally Honest Security, episode 1, dropped yesterday. So, I think it's going to be under the podcast tab. Yep, very, very cool. But we'll get all the links and everything, or I'll get everything put together for the actual Apple Podcast links and everything, so that way if you want to listen to it on the road and all that, we can kind of go from there. So if you didn't see it, I'll even pause that so I'm not even sharing my audio, so it's not that big of a deal. So there's a link if you haven't listened to it yet. 11 people have, which is incredible. 4 people liked it apparently. So first one is always a little rough, trying to figure out the format and things of that nature. So I personally am not overly thrilled about episode 1, but needed to get it done. And I already know you're always looking for ways to improve it, so we'll get there. If you have any questions for me, as always, please make sure you put a Q and a colon mark in front so that way I can find them very easily, because thankfully we've got a bunch of people that love to be very, very chatty. Got one in from Kyle. Hey, do you have any experience with drone systems for first responders? What are the risks and challenges? I do have experience with drone systems, but not for first responders. It has been a topic that I've been looking into. I'm very intrigued about, only because I started seeing the advertisements from T-Mobile where they had like dedicated internet and things like that for drone operators and stuff, for the EMTs and fire and all the first responders. And I was like, that's pretty freaking cool. Even though every time we turn around, it seems like T-Mobile's in some sort of data breach. But you know, that's pretty freaking cool. The thing that I will say now, really to get to your question, Kyle, about what are the risks and challenges are, not all drones operate with collision detection and things of that nature, right? So a lot of homegrown, self-made ones that you can build off of the internet, almost like your the quote-unquote ghost pew-pews. Can't say the other word on YouTube because then you get censored. They you know, you could be able to build your own drone, and whether you put, you know, collision detections and stuff like that in there, that would be the biggest thing I would personally be worried about, is, you know, being hit with some other drone as you're trying to respond, right? That'd be my biggest thing. So wow, we are very, very light on the questions today, ladies and gentlemen. Is everybody sleepy today? Oh, that's very cool. I didn't know that, Kim. That Transistor had its own... See, there's things that I just have no idea. I just leave it to Kimberly and Lisa, and I'm like, I'll just figure this crap out. I'm just over here doing stuff. So see, even I'm learning something. So yeah, definitely check that out. I am curious. And my fingers are not working already. Normally, for those who don't know, Transistor, I've normally got at least a couple hours of keyboard time, so my fingers are well in motion and not fumbling around. So, oh, that's very cool. So you can actually click on your Apple Podcast, Overcast. Okay, that is so cool. I kind of figured it did, but I wasn't 100% sure. So click on the subscribe. Hey, look at all those platforms we're on. You can even subscribe to us on your RSS feed. There you go. Can you play it straight from Transistor? Oh, you can, can't you? Oh, that is so cool. So cool. Okay. So cool. Thank you so much for that, Miss Kimberly. Greatly appreciate it. Oh, so those who don't know, we got a bunch of traveling coming up and things of that nature. Of course, people who are... Who's going to be at Wawa Hacking Fest this year? Just about, I think the entire team is going to be at Wawa Hacking Fest. We're even dragging out our director of Incident Response Partnerships to come out there. And it will be... it'll be a good time. So if you're going to be out there, you want to meet with us, definitely let us know. I'm going to be I'm going to be more in the background this time. Yeah, Justin will be there. I think we are. So Justin will be there. Kim, of course, will be there. Lisa will be there. I'll be there. We'll be at a house pretty close by. So we're trying to figure out some entertainment ideas and things of that nature. But yeah, if you want to sit down and have some coffee or something like that, definitely let us know. Let's see what oh, we got a couple more questions coming in. From the Rich, did you hear about the deep research zero-click chat GPT exploit? I have not. Using linked email accounts, the attacker sends an email with instructions and the LLM reads the email and then forwards this. Oh, I heard something about it, but I did not know. I don't know too much about it, to be completely honest with you. There's been a lot of stories that have kind of slipped past me recently. So that one I am not fully in depth on. That's only around, if I remember correctly, not ChatGPT, but Microsoft Copilot, if I remember correctly. Again, I'm not as versed on that one. Question, will it be put on Spotify? That'll be a question for Miss Kimberly. I know the account was finalized yesterday or the day before. And some of the emails are still flowing in of being approved on Apple and this platform and that platform and stuff. So the transistor may be just working on the submissions over. But let me double check. Amazon Music, Apple, Metacast. There's platforms here I've never even heard of. Deezer? Does anybody use Deezer? Deezer? I've never even heard of that podcast platform. Cashrill, Good Pods. Okay. But yeah, we'll see. I'm sure Transistor will get over there, or if we'll be needing to... Okay, just getting confirmation that from Kimberly in our BAT channel that it should go to Spotify. It may take a few days, but we'll get there. So there's your answer. Let's see. Are you familiar with the tool called, I forget, which attempts to capture ransomware encryption keys in real time? Have you seen any success with orgs using this tool? Sean, no. No. And hold on, let me take another sip of water. Can we be brutally honest with this one? Can we? Let's take a scenario. You operate a bank. Okay? You are putting a security guard inside of the vault at that point as your last line of defense. All of your other test applications and everything like that, your firewalls, your EDRs, your everything else has completely failed you. And as a last-ditch effort, you're putting armed security guards inside of the vault? Come on. While I do think it's cool to have a tool like that, I fear that people are going to use that as their saving grace. So, and okay, let's take it one other step. Ikura is known oh, hold on. I even shared this out with my CTI group yesterday. Let me pull this up. Let's see. I may have to get into a different chat. or a different platform. Yep. Talks amongst yourselves. Let me get a link real quick, because we actually see this in one of two of our cases right now. Bear with me a second. I got to log into several different platforms. Use my YubiKeys, all this stuff. Ooh, why'd you copy that? That wasn't right. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. It was on here, right? Oh goodness, it may not have been on this one. I got too many CTI feeds. Well, you could never say that. Stop it. There we go. This is the link I was looking for. So let me share my screen again. I want to show you something. All right, so I'll put the link here in chat. And if we scroll down, I mean, this is a really good report put together. And if this is the one that I think it is, which I'm pretty sure it is. Yep, there we go. So open image. No, I don't want to save, sorry. Open a new tab. Let's blow this up. You see that? You see that, Sean Kelly? That is Akira deploying on a remote system. And Akira.exe has the hard-coded encryption on there, and you're deploying it against a remote system. It's not going to work, unfortunately. So, if you are, my personal, blunt, honest opinion is, if you are if you're using that tool as a saving grace, you really need to have deeper conversations and reach out and schedule a call. I'll be happy to have some deeper conversations with you. And I am very blunt. So, and it really, I don't say that to beat you up on the past, but make you more aware and cognizant of the future. We can't change the past, right? We can only learn from those lessons. So we consider that as, grain of salts, and really start evaluating the stack that you have, where you're now throwing a lifeline, so to speak, as a last-ditch effort. Like, honestly, I would consider maybe reevaluating your EDR. Would be probably my first recommendation to you, or to the companies. How's the weather? It's actually pretty cool. It's pretty nice. Not too hot, not too cold. It's been very, very good. From Jerome Johnson, currently an ISSO on a few Gov projects. Way to go. But feel like I've hit a block in the road and looking to advance and scale up personally. Which certs do you recommend, and what should I be locked in on? If you're there, I don't know why you don't try just to invest in yourself and become a C3PAO for CMC and auditing the DIB. To be honest with you, you could easily pivot to the IC3 as well. Not as much of a barrier there, but there's not much to become an auditor for the DIB either. Defense industry based short DIB that says government contracts and stuff. Deezer isn't free? I didn't know that. I'm always brutally honest. Very cool. Let's see. From Ross, have you run into any companies in the midst of implementing AI, ChatGPT, or otherwise? If so, are they using frameworks such as NIST for controls? Wondering what everybody is doing in practice. Yeah, it is literally the wild, wild west, Ross. It literally is. So you have some people that are, they're pumping data into ChatGPT or Grok or Microsoft Copilot or their own private Llama, any, meeny, miny, mo, whatever, or DeepSeek or whatever. It really is the wild, wild west. And believe it or not, you're not really able to apply security frameworks to a large language model outside of air gapping it, controlling access to it, things of that nature. But you dump a ton of CUI. Sorry, CUI is controlled unclassified information. Sorry, that goes back to the CMMC stuff. Or PII, personal protected information, or HIPAA, or you can literally, there's nothing stopping you or anybody in your organization just to like, here's a bunch of data, process it. There's nothing stopping it. It's not like you could put DLP policies inside of your large language model. Now you could put it into your 365 tenancy. Side note, you can't do DLP policies with Google Workspace. People have tried, it doesn't work. And you have to use a third-party tool, and a lot of them unfortunately are horrendously bad at implementing DLP. So unless you're putting in that type of stuff and somehow just, you got to prevent that data from getting into the large language model to begin with, being exported from the ecosystem to be even put in there. From Taiwan Gong, what's going on, man? I haven't seen or heard from you, I think, in a couple weeks. Was competition being so fierce in cybersecurity, it almost makes me believe that maybe cybersecurity is a direction to go in. What are your thoughts? I want to be very careful with this answer. There is always a need for cybersecurity, always a need. But I've stated it before, and I'll state it again. This year, and even last year, but even more this year, we are in a crazy flux where, we are literally the coin the term of feast or famine. Like, either we have way too much work at one time, or we go months without work and doing project work and stuff like that. So, I say that to say there's a lot of uncertainty in business right now. So while they may have a job opening for a pen test or whatever, unless that perfect candidate comes across our desk, like, okay, we're going to make a risk because we think it's going to move the needle in our revenue projections, then they're just not going to hire. They're just going to leave the job open for the time being, and they're just going to collect resumes. That's literally the way it's going to go, right? So it's not a good spot to be in, to be honest with you. But this is unfortunately the world that we live in. What are the 3 things you like best about about what you do day to day? I'm always busy. It's never really a dull moment for the most part. There's never enough hours in a day to get everything done you need to do anyway. I'd say I think I'll just stick with that, to be honest with you, for now. I mean, I love the team that we've got going right now. Got a really solid team, trying to make some dents in the market. Yeah. To list out 3 individual things would be kind of hard. But things are good. Let's see. I don't have Discord up, so Kim and or Justin, do we have a... Oh, I do. Okay, never mind. Check on what everybody is talking about. Don't use high trust. Use NIST, tie up our heart NIST, yeah. I got mixed feelings on the high trust. Jerome Johnson, from my experience, a lot of this is, yeah, to be honest with you, the networking is definitely a very key piece to it. You know, being able to get into roles. So what is advice or some type of learning or something that changed your perspective on something that you follow to this day? Let me read it. What is advice or some type of learning or something that you... Okay. I've said it before. I'll say it till the end of time that one of the things that one of my clients actually taught me very early on when I was pivoting from pen testing over to digital forensics is not all data is considered the same. It's not. Data does not equal data. There's important data, there's critical data, it's just whatever kind of data. Not all data is to be considered the same. And when you're building out your disaster recovery plans, that needs to go into massive consideration. Because it's not just about the servers that you have to restore, it's the data that's associated with the servers and, you know, anything that's tied to it to get those things up and running. So from Ross, what skills at a director level do you believe would differentiate an individual from the rest when starting a new company? Ooh, that's going in a much different direction. What skills? You know, when it comes to that, being able to talk with authority and actually know what the F you're talking about. There's a lot of people out there that can do a very good talking game, but when it comes to actually implementation of anything, they have no effing idea what they're doing. And that's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, right? So if you are a director, I wouldn't expect a director to know how to click through every piece of GUI to get something implemented, but being able to navigate through and doing checks and balances and stuff like that and whatever, not just being a mouthpiece, I think is very much appropriated. You guys do IR at Barricade, right? Yes, we do. Incident response. Digital forensics and incident response. Don't forget the forensics. But yes, we are an incident response firm. What type of advice or type of... Oh, sorry, I already answered that one. I gotta start starting my questions that I've already answered. So I did that one. I did that one. I did that one. Already did that one. Bear with me a second, ladies and gentlemen. Just kind of going through the questions because we have, looks like 13 of them. Trying to make sure I don't forget anything. For those who don't know, and it may not be very pertinent to the folks in here, but we have had some business questions coming up, but we are coming up with a segment as well, apart from the Brutally Honest podcast. It's called Ask Barricade. We got the domain and all that. We just got to put it all together in the next month or two or a couple of weeks or whatever it is, where you can just submit your questions and myself and or Justin and or Lisa and or Kimberly will answer those questions. If we think it's, you know, on topic and on brand, right? Like, don't ask us, like, don't be going to Ask Barricade like, how do you smoke a pork butt? Barricade Cyber's not going to ask you that or answer that. When a community member says, as an American, I love the smell of gunpowder on stream, while American school shootings hit triple digits, what should leadership as a cybersecurity... I have plenty of answers for that, but I am not allowed to... I'm not allowed to. I know Jerry will lose his mind on me if I did that. So I will not answer. But I have a very unpopular opinion about that one. But we are getting ready to wrap up. Ladies and gentlemen, do y'all know, if y'all have not been doing or following along, we do have a webinar series called Fortify 365. It's one of our services that we provide in our proactive services, and we do have a episode coming up tomorrow, Team 4, Teams Security and Configuration. So if you just go to webinars.fortify365.com, you can kind of drag over here or come over here, register for it. It is tomorrow between 1 and 2 o'clock. Teams will send you a calendar invite for all of the remaining episodes. As you can see, we have pushed it out a little bit. So, you know, we have episodes going into January of next year. It's freaking crazy, isn't it? A lot to cover. And just being honest, this is like, I'm just covering phase 1 stuff. Like, this is the stuff that you do as a foundation we do for all of our clients that go through this platform. So if you want to learn some of the basic fundamentals and me walking through, you know, click here, click this is what this means, this is what that means, register for the webinar, right? With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I will see y'all next week. Take care of yourselves, be curious. See ya.
There once was a kid whose passwords laid across all sites. They were the same, a criminal, then found their fame by taking that data to go. Soon may a criminal come to steal your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime is done, they'll steal your account and go.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that content. Keep the cybersecurity train going by connecting with the other Simply Cyber community resources. We have the Discord server that's lively and always keeps the conversation going. You can connect with me directly on LinkedIn. And also every single weekday morning on the Simply Cyber channel, we're doing live daily cyber threat briefings, 8 a.m. Eastern time, as well as Thursday at 4:30 p.m. We're doing live stream interviews with industry experts, and we produce videos that we push out every Wednesday morning. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. I hope you enjoyed the content, and we'll see you in the next one.